Hello, folks. This Hangout on Air is live, and tonight we're examining a famous Canadian whiskey. It's been on the market for 108 years. You got a small sample bottle, and we have James P. Madonna. I said James P. Madonna would not be joining us again for the rest of his life, but here he is with us anyway. And
happy Fandango Friday, the sequel, the return of Fandango Friday. And I just want to start off by saying, if you're going to get a magnifying glass, get a glass one. Don't get a plastic one. Yeah. I want to start off by saying I humbly and sincerely and publicly apologize to Ronnie for overreacting, because I didn't mean to blurt out the word accountant, because one of my closest friends is a corporate controller with 2 master's degrees in accounting and finance, and he has an extremely colorful sense of humor, huge sense of humor. So, you know, I didn't mean to categorize all accountants. So there it is. Public apology to Ronnie. I misconstrued. No, my grandmother said construed that he was staring me down, which in reality probably most likely was not. So I apologize. And anyway,
I guess we could say it's water under the bridge now. Water under the George Washington Bridge. Ha ha ha.
Not troubled waters. The bridge over troubled waters is no more. Yeah, now it's I go down my block, I turn my head to the left, I'm staring at the GW Bridge. Turn my head to the right, I'm staring at Manhattan. I look straight, what do I see? Columbia University and Grant's Tomb. That's basically my view.
So James is close to the bridge now, and if you want to meet him there. But all right.
I'm not far. I'm the first exit over the bridge, to be honest with you. In Fort Ree, as the Kalian people say there, Fort Ree, New Jersey.
Yeah, I have seen some video and photos you took of the area, and I liked it. And I have been in the area, but only really driving up US Highway Route 1, and then on 46 West, because I was coming off going on to and coming off the George Washington Bridge a number of times, and I did go to the Lincoln Tunnel.
And there's a Holland Tunnel by Jersey City. And by the way, Liberty State Park is a great place for tourists to go to. In as far as being really close to Ellis Island and the statue, it's right there. And that walkway goes all the way down.
Yeah, and I don't think I went to the Holland Tunnel, but I saw it from the road, you know, like you were saying, Holland Tunnel, get off, and I could see all the traffic backed up, and I said, I'm glad I'm not going to that.
No, you don't need to mess with the Holland Tunnel for Liberty State Park. You just.
Oh, no, I'm just mentioning it.
Yeah.
I've been to the Lincoln Tunnel, and I've been on the bridge, but I don't think I ever went to the Holland Tunnel.
Yeah, I-95 will pretty much take you there. Unfortunately, it's a toll road.
Yeah,
I'm not crazy about toll roads and paying to go on a beach, but that's totally another story.
And I knew about the Liberty Park. It's a famous park. A lot of people go there.
Well, now they have a ferry going from Edgewater to Midtown Manhattan. It's New York Waterway, I think it's called. I see it going diagonally back and forth all day and night to the marina. We have a Edgewater Marina where they have privately owned boats, and then I call it Thurston Howell III Marina. That's my nickname for it. But anyway, there's a ferry that goes back and forth, and I could smell salt air, Jay Terrio, every time I'm on the walkway, and it's very breezy and cool at all times. But I could actually smell salt air. And it's probably coming from New York Harbor.
From the Atlantic Ocean, yeah.
But here we go. First time me trying this. Imported Seagram's Canadian Whiskey A Blend. Over 100 and, what does it say, 140 years?
That's when the company was founded, yeah.
The company, okay.
Not that particular brand.
Okay. Seagrams. All right, this is my first time because when it comes to whiskey, I've only had bourbon and imported Scotch whiskey. Even though I would like to try that single malt whiskey that the famous exorcist Bishop Brian drinks all the time. I think I posted it on Alcohol Legs. He's always talking about this small company making this single malt.
Oh yes, I remember you posted. Now, so you went to this liquor store and you bought all these little sample bottles like Wheat Leaf vodka, which I know is made in Kentucky, and then you had this one you bought, and you had the rum, cane rum.
12 cane rum or 10 cane rum. I think it was 12, but it's probably the Trinidad rum.
So I saw the lineup and I said, oh, well, I have a bottle of Seagram's VO, so we could examine that. Now I have the big bottle because I've been using it for taste challenges. It's got the Seagram's crest on the neck, the famous S with the 2 horses and all that fancy stuff. You have it on your bottle too. It's
there you go. Yeah, except mine is from Munchkin Lamb, a Lollipop Guild size.
Yeah, it's got all kind of writing on it.
Yeah.
The story with this whiskey and the company was that they started in Canada in the 1850s. It was an immigrant from Europe, I think Ireland, where or Scotland, Seagram. So he got the company going, and then he died in the 1920s. So a Russian immigrant family, the Bronfman family, a Jewish family, bought it, the whole company, and they made it bigger, and so they turned it into this like one of the world's biggest whiskey companies, and plus they made gin and rum and everything else. And then in the year 2000, one of the descendants of the family, who wasn't maybe too competent, caused the company to unfortunately implode, and there is no more Seagram's company. It's just a brand. It was auctioned off to different people. And so now Seagram's VO is owned by a New Orleans family. True story. They bought it last year, and they're called the Goldring family, William Goldring. So it is family owned. A man and his wife own it today, the brand. So, but it's 80 proof, 40% alcohol. It's blended, and we don't know how long it's aged. It used to have an age statement of 6 years, but it no longer has an age statement. So there's the story. You poured some, I'll pour some. You've never had it before, so.
No.
I'll tell you what, real fast, I'm going to read off the website for this brand and tell you what they say about it. It says, now they're being straightforward. They're saying, while flavorful and multifaceted, VO is, and we don't know what VO stands for because the company never would say. A lot of people think it means very old or their very own house brand. But while flavorful and multifaceted, VO is best served as a mixing whiskey with ginger notes complementary to ginger ale. So they're saying it really is probably best for making cocktails, But
well, it's like a very light version of an imported blended Scotch. I mean, whiskey. It's on the light side. I could taste a little smokiness, but it's not like imported blended Scotch whiskey like Grant's or what's the other one, Glensilver. Some of the inexpensive blended Scotch whiskeys. It's not as good as that, but it's it's a light whiskey.
Yeah. Now, being from Canada, it's probably about 90% corn, made from corn on the Great Plains, the interior plains. Now, Canadian whiskey is allowed to, it has to be aged a minimum of 3 years. They age it in oak barrels. Usually it's used bourbon barrels. And they said that, I was reading these regulations, they said that Canadian whiskey is allowed to have something like up to 9% 9% of their content can be other distilled products, like they can use to give it flavor. They can use rum, brandy, bourbon, and wines. Wines that are barrel. They said wines that are aged in small wood, like wines that are aged in a barrel. So that's why you could have these kind of exotic flavors, because they can use the wine, brandy, rum, bourbon. So we don't know what they have in it. They're not going to tell us. But
oh, it's like when you told me about Taylor port wine and sherry, that they add quite possibly Parmesan brandy to kick up the alcoholic content to 18%, but they don't
tell you,
come out and tell you that. So
yeah, it's almost certainly fortified with brandy. Yeah, and this could be fortified with brandy. Well, now we have a live guest from Ohio, Akron, Ohio, TRD Politics. We have Lance DeLush joining us. Now, Lance, I don't know if you ever met Progressive Discussions James P. Madonna.
One time, I have not, sir. Well, thank you for being on here tonight.
I remember you one time on, I think it was a Wild Card Wednesday show.
Yes.
I remember him.
He joins sometimes. He's been pretty busy with a lot of stuff going on in Akron. But now, Lance, I don't know if you have any experience with Seagram's VO.
Actually, I do. And it was never on my radar to review, but I know what it is. No, those crazy francophones up there in Quebec with Seagrams, they make a mighty good product. They really do. And this is one of those ones to where what you're reviewing tonight, I won't say it's middle of the road, but it is, if that makes sense. And they're trying to find that middle ground. I don't know how to describe it.
In other words, just a mid-price product.
Well, yeah.
Not super expensive, but not one of the cheapos.
I wouldn't do handstands over it. I honestly would say, if I had a choice between this product and an inexpensive, underrated bourbon like Heaven Hill with the black label,
yes,
with the black label, I would pick the Heaven Hill bourbon with the black label.
Now this one here, James, runs about $18 a bottle, so you can use that as your guide. Think about what you can get around $18 a bottle. Lance,
cheaper to buy Grants or Glen Silver imported Scotch, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
more or less.
Now, you worked in a bar for years. You see Seagram's VO at pretty much any bar, right? You hear me, Lance? Hey, Lance, you can hear me, huh, James?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, I can hear you.
No, Lance, you used to work in a bar, and I'm saying that pretty much every bar room will have Seagram's VO.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that question directed towards me is I mean, obviously you have well stuff like Seagram's the next step up, so I always see it all the time.
Yeah. And then you got the American blended whiskey called Seagram's 7 Crown.
Yes, correct.
A little cheaper, a little bit, about $3 cheaper per bottle. So James is saying he's not too thrilled with it, but he's not too worried because he didn't pay too much. You got that little sample bottle, and those sample bottles are good because you don't have to lay out a lot of money and you can try it and see what you
like. I'm glad you described the product from the website because it is a light whiskey. It is ideal for blending, and that is the key. Those are the main keywords to my review. Is that, yeah, I would say yes, it is ideal for blending.
Now, Progressive, my question is like, you saying this is a great mixer? Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's what
the company says it, but I agree.
Yeah, the company's saying it on the website that it's mainly designed to make mixed drinks. It's not really it's not really designed for sitting by the fireplace sipping it.
So corporate saying, okay, I got you now.
Yeah, corporate saying that. It's just a mixer, basically. I'll give you a few things. I'm going to read some comments because I don't want the viewers think I'm ignoring them. I'm picking up wood for sure. Oak. It's probably longer than 3 years in a barrel. I'm guessing there is a version you can get that's aged 8 years. It's called Seagram's VO Gold.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but that runs about $22 a bottle or more. So it's going to cost. It has a little vanilla. I'm picking up a little vanilla. The body's light. The finish lingers a little bit. I'm getting a little sweet corn, like you can eat sweet corn, but it's not super complex. It's better now that I've been drinking on it for a few years, because that's how long I've had this bottle. I hadn't been rushing through it. When I first tried it, I thought it was so dull. I complained about it being so bland, but I think I've been able to pick up some little subtle notes. But like James is focusing on, they're very subtle. If you're looking for a big, bold product, no, this is not going to work.
If you want a big, bold product at a low price, get Bacardi Black Rum.
Oh, I agree with that.
It's in the freezer right now. I highly recommend that. And those beers, Jay, those beers I showed you, the German wheat beer, and the what's the one? It had exotic name. Was it
the Corbinian and the Aventinus, right?
Yes, exactly. They were outstanding.
Oh, those are great. Those are like just fabulous, So Lance, do you mind if I read a few comments?
Go ahead.
Because I'm not going to be in here too long, because I'm going to go watch some Major League Baseball. I was trying to watch baseball last night, but I noticed that when I was getting too relaxed, I was hearing myself snoring. Yeah. In other words, I was sleeping while I was playing there. Okay.
I understand.
Cobra, huh? You probably had that experience yourself, watching television and falling asleep.
Mm-hmm. You know what's strange? When I was living in the other residence in my hometown, I had Verizon Fios fiber optics, and my connection speed and download upload is the same with Spectrum, with the all copper cable. So that means it's true. Verizon uses it as a selling point, but they control the connection speed. They just don't tell you that. They try to get you to buy the business account.
I'd have to move and change services to see a difference. I have a local cable connection. It's a company that none of y'all can get, so it's only available around here.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. That has to be the case, because
Well, we have big cable. We have big companies down here, of course, but I've just been with this. Okay, let's see. Cobra says, "How's it going, Ron?" Oh, it's going well. I'm a little tired because I worked all day, and I woke up at about 2 o'clock in the morning. Iron Man Spartan says, "Do you like red wine?" Yes. In fact, I have a bottle of Liberty Creek Merlot that's freshly open, and I've really enjoyed it so far, but I haven't had much of it. 47 Straight says, "Happy Friday." Happy Friday to you. Iron Man Spartan says, "Blended whiskey is not fine." That's right. It's not a fine, gourmet product. Although there are some blended whiskeys that are, like the Johnny Walker Blue Label, which will cost you about $265 a bottle. But it's good to mix. Single malt can be enjoyed on its own. Yeah, I agree. Ronnie S. says, "Cheers, buddy." Ron, hey, Ronnie S. There's Ronnie S. And Lance Celeste says, trying to log in, which he did. Lee Russell says, "Meet the jester at the bridge, fight him." Okay. Well,
I'm off. I'm the first exit over the bridge. We have some nice long piers, so like the kung fu movies. If you fall off of the object, you're doomed. So that could make it colorful. No, I already explained myself earlier.
Yeah, but him and his friends got a kick out of that video. They just and they even made mock videos of it.
You know what, Bob? You know what really irked me is the fact that there's a certain specific craft beer show on a weekday, whereas the show is very professional. There are many fine experts on that show. Even the host knows a hell of a lot about craft beer. He's no Jay Terrio, but he's great. I got to give him credit. But when you go off the air, you don't continue to critique beer. You know, it's supposed to be relaxed. You're off the air. If you want to continue to critique beer and do reviews, well, then you leave the live button on. You continue.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
like really, the point I was trying to get at. Plus, people didn't like the idea of Fandango Friday because, it's like casual Friday at the office, not as many rules. People are supposed to have fun and cut loose and relax a little bit, and a lot of them were uptight about it because they're like rigid, like androids. We must review beer. We must be serious 7 days a week. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, come on. Take some Metamucil, people, if you're like that. Get some fiber in your system. But anyway, that's the point I was making to sum it up. Forget about the fighting. Everybody was kung fu fighting. Do you remember that song? Yeah. Anyway, I digress. But back to the comments.
No, you did a good job clearing it up. Now, Craig said, "Welcome back, James. Whiskeys and scotches are fun to explore. I haven't dived into bourbon yet. Bourbon is interesting. Some people don't like it because they find it's too woody. Like they don't like that charcoal wood. But I do find that interesting too, because a lot of people that will say they can't stand the charcoal and the wood will turn right around and go eat some heavily charred pork. And I'm like, well, you just said, but maybe they don't like the experience of drinking it. Or
it's the wood that makes it good. Kenny Rogers Roasters used to say that. Yeah, they'll eat smoked pulled pork, brisket, whatever. They'll eat that and say, "Oh wow, I love barbecue," but then they'll turn around and say that the liquor is too woody
or too smoky, like Scotch. Yeah. They say, "I don't like the smoky Scotch," but they love smoked meat. But that's
they're saying way too rough going down. That's what Barroff's saying.
Yeah, it just kind of pushes them. But maybe Craig will try it. If you try bourbon, Craig, let us know on Alcohol Legs what you thought about it. Green Planter says, "How do you guys not gain a mad amount of weight drinking every day?" Well, that's a good question.
Where our metabolism, we work out maybe. Our metabolism is like a hummingbird.
Yeah. Plus,
I don't gain weight anyway.
And anyway, I walk a mile a day, and I do push-ups, sit-ups. I don't eat a whole lot. Now, a lot of people don't realize what they're doing. They'll say, well, oh, I'm drinking beer and it's making me fat. But they're not thinking, like, do you notice that, I want to tell them, do you notice that you're snacking a lot? Like, they don't even realize they're eating chips all the time, and they're snacking on this, they're snacking on that, and they're not thinking about it. And that's really adding a lot of weight. And then they'll go and they'll say, oh, I'm just going to eat a bowl of cereal tonight. But if you look at the bowl, I say, what family's going to eat that? So they're not realizing that the portions they're consuming are incredible. American people eat incredible portions.
Well, it could be sugar-laden cereal. They could be inactive and sedentary people.
Yeah, if you're inactive, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt.
If you eat home cooking and natural foods and organic this and that and high fiber, you're gonna be fine. You just have to stay active. That's a key point. I guess what you were saying about going down hard is like trying to drink stout and porter constantly, and compared to a refreshing beer like, let's say, Modelo Especial or
Oh yeah.
Which I happen to think has a great flavor for everyday beer drinking.
Oh yeah,
No.
I agree. Well, to sum up this Seagram's VR, I just took the last bit of it in this glass, and I'm not about to drink anymore. It's fine. I like it. It's not necessarily my favorite Canadian blended whiskey, but I can think of others that are way worse. And I have so many that are very cheap, very cheap. Um, Canadian whiskey has its place. I mean, in America, I mean, any liquor store you go to, they've got their section. Some people won't touch it. They won't touch it. They'll say, oh, no, not Canadian blended whiskey. I'd rather give up drinking. But other people, I know people, like a guy I work with at Bingo, when I volunteer to work at Bingo, he says, oh, that's what I like. He enjoys Canadian blended whiskey. Well, okay, so he enjoys it. Anyway, I'm favorable towards this, but I don't adore it. I'm not in adoration. I still want to try the Grants. If I ever buy a bottle before I'm 100 years old, I'll let James know, because I know he loves Grants. I have a bottle of Johnny Walker Red that I bought, and I have a bottle of Chivas Regal that I've been trying to.
Yeah, they have small bottles of all the good stuff also. The Irish whiskeys, the Chivas, yeah, at this particular store. Very impressed. A lot of tiny bottles.
That's convenient, I mean, I can get some small bottles, but I haven't seen the VO, but it's probably around.
I wonder if small bottles can be had online very easily.
Yeah, but then you might run into trouble with the shipping costs. It might cancel out any benefit of the size. Now, one thing I wish we would have done, I did this examination with somebody. I don't know. I forget. I do too many things and I can't remember. There's a German liqueur. It's like a medicinal. I know this German lady, and she says, oh, people in Germany drink that to help settle their stomach after they eat dinner.
Jägermeister?
Yeah.
Jaeger has a reindeer in the front. It's a green label.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, Jägermeister.
She said in Germany they use it as like a medicinal product.
I'm glad you brought Jägermeister up. You know that it's like over 800 years old, and it's a recipe that was developed by German monks, and it's made with hundreds of different herbs and fruits, and it has a fascinating history.
And deer blood.
Tastes like cough syrup, though.
Jane, Lance, you have some experience with Jägermeister.
Yeah, it's like, that's just not my gig. It really not.
It's like drinking cough syrup.
It is like, I want a cough syrup. I'll show you straight up cough syrup.
Yeah, Vicks NyQuil. It's like, or Robitussin or something.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting, but I don't think I'd make a habit of drinking it. Although I know there's some people probably take a shot every night. Now Lance is drinking a light lager. Well, an ice lager, 5.9%. I know what Lance is drinking, which I do buy from time to time, and I can get a good deal on that light lager well, go ahead and show the audience, Lance, what you're drinking.
It's Milwaukee's best. Like, now granted, for people watching this live stream, I jumped this in progress, not knowing what was going on, because it's Friday night, I'm off. But, like, I had to drink something, at least show myself.
Well, don't feel bad, because I go to the grocery store sometimes and I get a 6-pack of that beer. Well, I get the tall cans for $4.28. A 6-pack, the tall can. That's not a bad deal.
I'll never forget just how great Sapporo Black Lager was when back in the day when I did shows with you guys.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was awesome. It's
well, who knows? I mean, you can start joining us if you're interested, because we do the Wild Card Wednesdays, and I always like those interesting Polish beers. Those were interesting. I just always was interested in those.
I won't do any more Polish beers because first of all, I'm no longer near that community, number one. Number two, Mr. Michael Komarov kept on making fun of me for bringing Polish beers on the show. Oh, what? Another Polish beer there, James? You know, so I can't do it anymore. I will cease and desist.
Oh, I guess he was just giving you a hard time. He doesn't mind. He's very easygoing. I think if you met Michael in person, you'd find he's really easygoing. Now, he's like particular about some things, like we all are. Like,
yeah.
When we went to the beer tasting at his house, he had to have a number. Like, he keeps a book. And he even said, I don't know why I keep this because I don't see what the purpose is, but
dates. He likes dates on the beer.
Yeah, and he keeps a book and he wants everybody's score. And I said, well, what are you going to do with that data? He says, I have no idea. And I used to do that, but I think I'm going to give it up this year. Like, since 1988, I'll show you real fast. And I was thinking about that the other day. I said, what's the point of doing this? It's what crazy people do.
Yeah, it's like an obsession, like a compulsive, obsessive.
Right, like maybe I'm crazy, you know. So like I have this book. This is one of the folders, and if you look in this folder, Lance is gonna either laugh or curse me. If you look in this folder, it's got 2018 college football preview. This is my own predictions.
Oh, so nice.
I got all
nice.
And then what I do is I would write down the schedule for each week. And then I would write down the scores. And then I would pick who I thought was going to win. And then some friends of mine would call me or send me emails saying, okay, here's my picks. We had a little contest we did for years. Unfortunately, one of the guys like literally died and the other one's very sick. That's how long we did it. They got so old they couldn't do it. But this goes back. I mean, look at this folder. It goes back.
Look at that.
To 1988. Now, what is the purpose of having all this data? It doesn't make any sense.
It's like Captain Kirk's log on the Starship Enterprise there. Oh, by the way,
diehard Louisiana Monroe fans, like, they know what happened years and years later. That's what that is.
Right. But now with the internet and everything, you don't need all that. You can just look it up. What are you going to say, James?
Oh, Jay, you know what I learned this past week? That horse racing in Australia and Japan, they actually go around the opposite way on a track.
Huh. Well, I thought every track in the world went the same way.
No, apparently not there. I saw it. My friend was with this man, this very wealthy old man that is very good at playing the horses, and he has an app on his phone, and he's at the bar and he's betting all over the world. And he says, come here, I'm going to show you something. Look, Australia, Japan, they go around the opposite way. I'm always learning new things.
Yeah, I would have been surprised. Now, well, so we're going to get off the air here. We determined that I mean, I like Seagram's. I think James is probably not too thrilled with Seagram's VO, but heck, he bought it. So I said, I'll examine it. Why not?
I went eeny, miny, VO, you know, and I had to pick some little bottles, and it's something I never had before. But the key word here is it's a good mixing whiskey.
Yeah, I've been trying a bunch of white rums, and I had some good experiences, but then I ran into a roadblock about a week ago, and that thing was a nightmare and a half. I couldn't believe it. I never tasted anything like that. I said, they have the nerve to sell this? It tasted like rancid sugar. I couldn't get over it.
What was it?
I just couldn't get over it. It was called Ron Rio. And I said, am I going to die if I drink this? And people were saying, dump it out, dump it out.
Ron, that means Rum River, I think, in Spanish.
Right, yeah, Rum River. And it's been around since 1975. It's been around since 1975. I said, they've been perpetuating this on the world for 44 years. I couldn't get over that one. But all the rest were good, you know, like the Captain Morgan White and the Bacardi Silver. And
I still got that white, what is it, 12 cane, that little Yeah, I think I had no idea that the Sol Brewing Company, Mexican beer Sol, is 1869 or something like that. I didn't know it was that old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's the second oldest, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a Mexican beer challenge today. I did Carta Blanca versus Dos Equis, but I couldn't tell them apart. Mm-mm.
Dos Equis Ambar.
You're gonna take time. You'll be all right, Jay.
Huh?
Experience takes time. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I guess I'll be all right. I did the lager. No, the lager especial, the green bottle, James. You know that one.
Yeah, well, I tell you, as far as education goes, whether it be fermented beverages or nostalgic sports or whatever, Jay's the go-to man for it. You know, he does his research and he definitely educates people along with the reviewing. So, you know, whatever he does, it's going to be a show of very high caliber, as opposed to all those jabronis out there, and you know, that think they're on top of the world, but they're really bottom feeders. But this is the man to watch right here, Jay Terrio. You know, yeah. And when he says the show's over, he doesn't continue to do the show when he's off the air, like a certain leprechaunish type of individual that is out there. That the Emerald Mystic is not done with that leprechaun type of humanoid. The Emerald Mystic.
I mean, I'm not. You know, off air, I always agreed with you about that. I never did like the idea of continuing on endlessly with that. I agreed with you.
Yeah.
But
leave it up. Leave the show on if you're going to continue to do reviews. Leave it on. Let it go. Let it go. Like some girl said to me one time. But anyway, I digress. Let it go. Let it go. You know, stay live. If you're going to be serious, stay live.
Right. But off the air, you want to kind of relax and talk. Now, Lance.
Yes.
James knows a lot of interesting characters that lurk around the internet, like Krampus. He knows the Emerald Mystic. I don't want to get into all these.
And Red Rooster. I know about the infamous.
All right, now, but Lance, before we go off the air, James is going to show you some of his idiosyncratic things that he does, like he rings 7 bells and he plays this harp and all this. So, Lance, if you can bear with this for a moment before we get off the air.
Yeah, bear with it. I'm going to play the Jews harp. I'm going to play Jews harp. It has nothing to do with Israel. And then I got to go finish working out because I got to go out tonight to my friend's nightclub that he manages, and get some free, refreshing craft beer.
No, you play the People's Flute. I'm okay with that.
The People's Flute?
Yes.
Yeah, all right. You know what? Hey, this thing, I never seen anything like it. It's from Italy. An ex-girlfriend gave it to me in the early 1980s, and I've taken care of it.
Okay.
Fandango Friday.
I like
that.
Well,
Fandango Friday.
And then we'll just go off. Well, hey, that's the Fandango fascination to fruition, people. Now, I think 7 bells will close us out, Lance. So here he comes.
7 bells. Now, I just want to say another beer enthusiast, Mr. Gary W. Owens, will be doing another progressive discussion show with me this Wednesday, I think at 3 p.m. On my channel. But anyway.
Is that 3 p.m. Eastern?
Yeah, Eastern time of 3 p.m. from the Progressive Discussions. Gary W. Owens is my new co-host because my original one died. I mean, you know, I have to let him off the hook if he died on me. But anyway,
okay.
And other people are not, how should I say, they've done shows with me, but they're very nervous about going public with their opinions.
Oh, got you.
They're pusillanimous pipsqueaks. You know what I mean? They're
Gotcha.
yeah. They're worried. They want everyone to like them. They don't want to offend anyone. So they ceased and desisted to be my co-host because it was, you know, getting a little too controversial. Anyway.
Gotcha.
The world's loudest jingle bell. And the the Ed Norton honeymooners bell. Oh, Thelma, step into my dining room with my coffee. I would like 2 lumps. You keep on ringing that bell and you'll get 2 lumps. if you're a honeymooners fan.
Well, what can I say? All right, now let's see. Any last comments? Voltron, Defender of the Universe, says hi, and he had some Kirkland Old Vine Zen today. Oh, well, you know what? I cannot get Kirkland's brands because I'm not a member of Costco, and I'm not paying $50 for the right to buy groceries. So, but I understand people like to go to Costco. Yes.
Yeah, Costco, they treat their employees quite well, from what I hear too.
So, well, thanks, folks. I'm about to get off the air here due to baseball, Major League Baseball related reasons. Like, for instance, I'm missing the game's been on for 40 minutes. So,
well, Kansas City's playing to Detroit right now this weekend, aren't they?
I didn't look at the whole schedule, but that sounds about right. I'm gonna go watch the interleague game. And I don't really like interleague games, but I'm gonna go look at the Rangers playing at the Cincinnati Reds. So Cincinnati,
yuck.
Yeah, Cincinnati's terrible, you know, but the Rangers are kind of good, so it might be a decent game. Yeah, Cincinnati, they're just, oh man, and but Cleveland's competitive at least, huh?
They have pitching problems right now due to injuries.
Yeah.
We'll see by the 4th of July what's going on with them. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
And then James is in the baseball capital of America, really, with the Yankees and the Mets. Although Dodgers and Giants fans might disagree, but anyway, no one made them move away. But
yeah, it's well, I like the Red Sox, but you know, it's like yeah, it's a mecca, so to speak. We got a lot of hockey teams. The New Jersey Devils, then you got the New York Rangers, and then I don't know why there's the New York Islanders.
The Islanders, yeah. So and hockey doesn't get much coverage in Louisiana, as you would imagine. But
yeah, what about the Florida Panthers? I was always befuddled by why the South Florida have a you know, an indoor stadium with ice and a hockey team. They're in Broward County, I think.
well, you know, there's so many people in Florida that come from New York. They move down there to live. So Florida is more of a northern state these days than it is a southern state due to immigration, or I guess you would call it migration, but you know, immigration from other states. So
right. Then you have calamities like sinkholes and the hurricanes and the alligators. Now you have the Burmese pythons swallowing your beloved pets, and so on and so forth.
yeah, we got a little problem around here with alligators attacking people lately, but anyway, it must be something to do with radiation and the aliens or something. All right, well, anyway,
Yes.
Thanks for watching this. Thanks for watching this video production, and get ready tomorrow morning. I'm doing a Dawn Busters, and I'm doing 2 blended Scotch whiskeys, 100 Pipers versus, which was actually started by Seagram's. Interestingly, 100 Pipers started by Seagram's, and it's going up against Inverhouse Green Plaid. So,
ooh,
Oh wow.
yeah. And I got those both pretty cheap. Thanks for watching this video production. Y'all take care and have a great weekend.